Welcome, GrimFace warriors. If you're here, you've already made a decision most never will. To stop living soft and start living sharp. To trade comfort for conquest. To build a life forged in discipline, honor, and unstoppable will. This is not a place for victims. This is a sanctuary for the few who choose to rise when others fold. Our mission is simple: to forge warriors of mind, body, and spirit. Through self-mastery, accurate thinking, brutal self-honesty, and unwavering discipline. We don't follow trends. We don't chase validation. We build. We conquer. We endure. This is the way of the GrimFace. If you're ready to rise, then tighten your armor, clear your mind, and stay locked in. Because here, we don't break. We break through. Let me give you a warning. If you skip this, your life will stay exactly where it is. Stuck, dull, predictable. And the worst part? You won't even realize it. You'll keep thinking you're making progress, while slowly drowning in distractions, mental fog, and half-formed dreams. But if you stay, if you absorb what I'm about to show you, you'll unlock a kind of intelligence most people never touch. A ruthless clarity that slices through confusion like a blade. You'll stop reacting to life and start engineering it. And the people who once ignored you, they won't know whether to fear you or follow you. These aren't tips. These are neural weapons. So sit up, pay attention. Because the first hack, it rewires the one thing that's been sabotaging your power this entire time. Let's begin. Hack 1. Destroy comfort-driven thought. You were never taught how to think like a weapon. You were taught how to feel safe. Think about it. From childhood, every system around you was designed to make you crave comfort. Be polite. Don't question. Fit in. Get good grades. Get a safe job. Don't rock the boat. You weren't trained to think for yourself. You were trained to repeat, obey, and please. And every time you reached for more, every time you tried to break the pattern, someone whispered, "Relax. Don't overdo it. You've done enough." That wasn't kindness. That was mental sedation. Comfort-driven thought is not neutral. It's not harmless. It's a slow-acting poison that wraps your potential in velvet chains. You don't notice them tightening until it's too late. Until you wake up one day and realize you've become soft. Not because you're weak, but because you've been programmed to think weak. And here's the real tragedy. Most people never escape it. They build entire lives around avoiding discomfort. Every decision, every belief, every relationship, shaped not by strategy or purpose, but by fear of confrontation, fear of pain, fear of pressure. So let me ask you something brutal. How many decisions have you made this week just to feel better? How many times have you chosen easy instead of right? How many goals have you abandoned because chasing them got uncomfortable? See, comfort-driven thought is a clever saboteur. It doesn't scream. It whispers. It shows up dressed like self-care. It wraps laziness in logic. It sells you mediocrity as balance. And if you let it, it will destroy everything you could have become. But here's the shift. This is the awakening moment. You must learn to reverse your instincts. You must retrain your brain to seek the fire, not flee it. Because the thoughts that make you uncomfortable, those are the ones that rebuild you. When your mind says, "I'm too tired to do this," you say, "Perfect. Now it matters." When your emotions say, "This feels scary," you say, "Good. that means growth is hiding behind it. You stop thinking for relief. You start thinking for results. This is how warriors are forged. By turning pain into precision. By learning to think like a surgeon under pressure. Cold, calculated, committed. You don't get smarter by feeding your comfort. You get smarter by burning the mental junk that's been blinding you. Excuses? Incinerated. Doubt? Vaporized. Softness? Starved. And what remains? Clarity. Command. Control. You become the kind of person who chooses difficulty on purpose. Because you understand that pain is not the enemy. It's the entry fee to power. You'll start noticing things others miss. You'll start acting while others hesitate. You'll begin to weaponize your thoughts so precisely that success stops being accidental and becomes inevitable. And that's just the beginning. Because the second hack, that's when we take all this mental pressure and focus it like a laser. Ready? Let's move. Hack 2. Weaponize your focus with ruthless elimination. Your mind wasn't built for multitasking. It was built for war. But you've been tricked. Conditioned to believe that doing more makes you more powerful. That having 15 tabs open, 12 ideas brewing, and 8 conversations spinning in your head is a sign of ambition. It's not. It's a sign of mental sabotage. Distraction is the new disease. And they made it addictive. They made you think that every notification was an opportunity, every buzz a call to action, every dopamine hit a victory. But every time you split your attention, you split your power. And here's the terrifying truth most people never grasp. Your future is being murdered one notification at a time. You're not losing focus. You're leaking life. Because the mind is a weapon. But without discipline, it's a loaded gun in the hands of a child. Let me make this brutal. You do not rise by addition. You rise by elimination. Focus isn't about doing more. It's about cutting away everything that doesn't matter with surgical precision. And that means one thing. You need to start burning the clutter. Not organizing it. Not managing it. Eliminating it. Unfollow people who drain your drive. Delete apps that bleed your attention. Silence the voices that feed your indecision. Stop pretending it's harmless. It's not. Every distraction is an enemy sniper. Every open loop in your mind is a leech-sucking potential. And every harmless scroll is a bullet to your future you'll never see coming. So here's your new creed. Brutality over busyness. Clarity over clutter. Depth over dopamine. Want to make yourself 50% smarter? Here's how. Do fewer things. With more force. For longer periods. In complete silence. This is how elite thinkers dominate. They don't chase 100 rabbits. They hunt one target until it drops. And while the world scrambles for crumbs, they walk away with the whole feast. Because their focus is fatal. You want to rise above the noise? You must become a specialist in subtraction. Write this down. Every yes is a no to something else. When you say yes to distractions, you say no to mastery. When you say yes to comfort, you say no to progress. When you say yes to every shiny new idea, you say no to the one thing that could have made you unstoppable. You must protect your focus like it's your only currency. Because it is. Your time is limited. Your energy is finite. But your focus, that's what determines the quality of every result in your life. So what do you need to eliminate right now? That endless feed of nothingness? Gone. That project you said yes to out of guilt? Cut it. That friend who constantly drains your energy and justifies mediocrity? Gone. No apologies. Because here's what happens when you eliminate ruthlessly. Your vision sharpens. Your decisions quicken. Your confidence multiplies. You stop second-guessing and start executing. You stop being busy and start being dangerous. And once your focus is locked in, you're no longer reacting to life. You're commanding it. And the best part? Most people will never do this. They'll keep drowning in noise, chasing quantity over quality. But not you. You now have a weapon that can't be bought. Focus. And when you combine it with the next hack, you'll begin reprogramming reality itself. Let's go deeper. Hack 3. Reprogram the internal dialogue. Let me ask you something most people are too afraid to answer. Who's really talking inside your head? When you hear that voice, the one that tells you you're not ready, not smart enough, not strong enough, is that really you speaking? Or is it a recording? A loop burned into your subconscious by parents, teachers, bullies, culture, by failure, by fear? Here's the truth. Most people don't think. They repeat. They wake up every day and relive the same internal dialogue, the same doubts, the same limitations, the same self-sabotaging scripts disguised as thoughts. And they never stop to ask, who programmed this? Because that's what your inner voice is, a program. And if you don't rewrite it, it becomes your prison. Understand this. Your mind is listening to you, always. Every word you speak to yourself becomes law in your subconscious. Not metaphorically, literally. Your nervous system, your beliefs, your identity, they all respond to the words you whisper in silence. So every time you say, I'm not good at this, I'm not the type of person who, I've always struggled with, you are commanding your brain to obey failure. You are drilling it into your nervous system like a ritual. And guess what? It listens. It builds a world to match those words. It rewires your decisions to stay small. But now you see it. You were never dumb. You were under hypnosis. And the fastest way to break that spell? Reprogram the dialogue. Not with fake positivity. Not with empty affirmations, but with aggressive mental commands that override the virus. Because the mind doesn't need comfort. It needs orders. From now on, every word you say to yourself must be forged like a weapon. Precise, relentless, commanding. Stop saying I can't. Start saying, this is already mine. I'm not hoping. I'm executing. Stop saying I'm trying. Start saying, I'm doing this because I said I would. Stop saying, I hope it works out. Start saying, I make it work. Period. Because the moment your inner voice changes, your world follows. Not slowly, immediately. Confidence doesn't come from talent. It comes from a mind that obeys its master. And that master is you. And if you're thinking, but I've failed so many times. Good. That means your subconscious is raw, ready to be rebuilt. So stop feeding it fear. Start feeding it fire. Here's how you begin. When you wake up, don't check your phone. Speak your identity into existence. Out loud, with force, with intention. I am locked in. I am precise. I am creating my future today. Say it like you mean it. Not once, not twice, until it takes root. Then act accordingly, even if your emotions don't match, even if doubt whispers. Because your subconscious doesn't understand sarcasm. It doesn't understand hesitation. It understands repetition. Repetition is reprogramming. You don't hope for change. You hammer it into your brain through daily declarations backed by action. Because the mind isn't a mirror. It's a blueprint machine. And once your internal dialogue is weaponized, you no longer react to the world. You shape it. You walk into chaos with certainty. You face the unknown with calm. You take hits. You adapt. And you never fold. Why? Because your mind no longer takes orders from fear. It takes orders from you. And once you become the commander of your internal world, you're ready for hack 4. Because now that your voice is aligned with power, it's time to do something even more dangerous. Turn your emotions into fuel. Let's go. Hack 4. Use emotional alchemy. They told you to control your emotions, to bottle them up, hide them, suppress them, smile when you're angry, nod when you want to scream, numb out your rage, ignore your pain. But here's the truth they never dared to tell you. Your emotions aren't the enemy. They're your power source. That burning in your chest, that fire in your gut, that storm of fear, anger, heartbreak, betrayal, that's raw energy. And you've been wasting it. Because they never taught you emotional intelligence. They taught you emotional avoidance. And so now, most people walk around as ticking time bombs. One bad day from exploding. One betrayal from breaking. But not you. Not anymore. Because you're about to learn the ancient art of emotional alchemy. The skill of taking volatile internal energy and transmuting it into pure, directed power. Let me break it down. Rage. Most people punch walls, sabotage themselves, lash out and lose control. But a trained mind? It channels that rage into intensity, into action, into unbreakable drive. It says, good, now I've got fuel. Fear? Most people freeze. They second guess. They crumble under the pressure of the unknown. But the warrior? They listen to fear. They strip it for parts. And inside fear, they find the truth about what matters. Fear reveals your priorities. Fear is a flashlight on your destiny. So instead of running from it, you say, thank you. Now I know what I must face. Sadness. Most drown in it. They spiral. They isolate. They disappear. But you extract the lesson. You turn grief into clarity. You take the broken pieces and rebuild differently. Stronger, sharper, colder, even betrayal. When someone slices you open emotionally, instead of bleeding out, you say, now I see who I am without illusion. You convert the wound into wisdom. You convert the heartbreak into focus. You convert the humiliation into hunger. This is emotional alchemy. It's not about being cold. It's about being in control. It's about being able to feel everything, but act only on what serves you. And that means separating your triggers from your truth. Here's how you begin. When emotion strikes, don't react. Observe it. Don't shove it down. Extract it. Ask, what is this emotion trying to tell me? What can I do with this fuel? How do I sharpen this into something useful? And then you act. Not emotionally, strategically. Because a warrior doesn't swing wildly. A warrior waits, observes, calculates, then strikes once, with devastating precision. That's the power you build when you stop fearing emotion and start commanding it. And if you're thinking, but sometimes my emotions overwhelm me, good, because that means you're powerful. That means the fire is alive in you. And all that's missing? Direction. Because once your emotions are aimed, you become unreasonable, unstoppable, unshakable. You laugh at distractions. You eat pain for breakfast. You walk into storms and steal the lightning. You're no longer just a thinker. You're a force of nature. And now that your mind is aligned, Your focus is locked. Your internal dialogue is weaponized, and your emotions are fueling the fire. You're ready for the final piece, because none of this matters if you don't build the system to carry it forward. Hack 5 will show you how to automate dominance. Let's finish this. Hack 5. Think in systems, not surges. Let's end the fantasy here. You will not win this game through motivation, not through hype, not through adrenaline, not through those occasional bursts of clarity where you feel ready to change everything. Because motivation, it's a chemical, a fleeting emotion, a sugar rush for the soul. It comes fast. It fades faster. That's why so many people start strong and vanish. Why they build the vision board, write the plan, go hard for 3 days, then collapse under the weight of inconsistency. Not because they're weak, but because they never built a system. Here's the brutal truth. Surges don't scale. Systems do. You think elite performers wake up inspired every day? You think warriors wait to feel like fighting? No. They've constructed a system so unbreakable that success becomes automatic. Emotion becomes irrelevant. Excuses become obsolete. They don't rely on willpower. They rely on design. And if you want to become 50% smarter, 100% more lethal, you must do the same. Because thinking in surges is emotional. Thinking in systems is strategic. So what is a system? It's a ritual that removes thinking from the equation. It's a structure that makes the right action the easiest one to take. It's the invisible machinery that powers the disciplined life behind the scenes. Systems mean you don't try to eat clean. You've already prepped the fuel. You don't hope to train. You've already blocked the time. You don't wing your business. You've already mapped your execution schedule to the hour. Systems are choices made in advance. They're architecture for your future self. Let me make this real for you. Surge thinking sounds like this. I'm going to work hard this week. System thinking says, here's my task block. Here's my environment. Here's my tracking protocol. Go surge. Thinking says, I just need to stay consistent. System thinking removes the need to stay anything. It automates consistency. Surge thinkers drown in to-do lists. System thinkers build repeatable flows, checklists, templates, automations. They eliminate decision fatigue and become execution itself. Because the truth is this: the more decisions you have to make, the weaker you become. The more effort required to start, the less likely you'll continue. And every ounce of friction in your routine is a leak in your power. Systems seal the leaks. They remove the friction. They guarantee the outcome if you follow through. Now here's what nobody tells you. Systems don't feel good in the beginning. They feel rigid, robotic, restrictive, because they're forcing you to confront your chaos, to face the fact that you've been guessing your way through life, living by emotion, reacting instead of constructing. But once you commit to a system, something shifts. You stop needing motivation. You stop negotiating with your weakness. You stop chasing peaks and start building an empire. And this isn't just about productivity. It's about identity. Systems rewire who you are. From someone who tries to someone who executes. From someone who plans to someone who dominates. You go from unpredictable to inevitable. So here's what you do. Start small. One system. One area of chaos. Ask yourself, where am I still depending on emotion to guide me? Then build a structure around it. Want to read daily? Time, place, book, trigger. Want to grow your income? Systemize outreach, automate follow-ups, track performance. Want to train like a beast? Lock your workout into your calendar. Same time, same playlist, same execution. No thinking, just do. And once that system is in place, stack another, then another, then another, until your entire life becomes a machine. Cold, clean, calculated. That's how you win. Not in bursts, but in blueprints. Final words. You've come far. You've learned how to destroy comfort-driven thought and awaken precision. Overclock your focus through ruthless elimination. Reprogram your internal dialogue and command your subconscious. Transmute emotion into power with brutal emotional alchemy. And now, systemize your dominance so it never fades. Most will hear this and change nothing. They'll scroll. They'll forget. They'll relapse into the loop. But not you. Because if you made it this far, you're not average. You're not here for hype. You're here for war. So now you have two options. Keep thinking like the masses, or build a mind so precise it terrifies them. Either way, the decision's already being made by your system or your lack of one. Choose wisely, warrior, because the most dangerous version of you is still being built. Bonus hack number 6. Weaponize your perception of time. If you really want to become dangerous, you need to stop living inside the same clock as everyone else. You need to weaponize time. Because here's what no one tells you. Time isn't fixed. It bends. It warps. And your perception of it can either trap you or unleash you. Most people live in mental time loops. They're haunted by the past, held hostage by things they can't change, or they're paralyzed by the future, staring into a fog of unknowns, convincing themselves it's too late, or too soon, or never the right moment. But those who rise, the ones who seem inhuman in their execution, they don't experience time the same way you do, because they've learned to compress time, to bend it, to stretch minutes into movements, to collapse years of progress into months, weeks, even days. How? By mastering temporal focus. They don't live in someday. They live in now. And not the lazy version of now you've been sold. Not be present, like it's a meditation cliche. No. They weaponize the moment. They treat this second as the only second that exists. They stack win after win right now. Not when they feel ready. Not when the planets align. Now and again. And again. Here's the truth. Most people waste years waiting for the right moment to act, to speak, to train, to build, to change. But those years, they're illusions, constructed by a weak relationship with time. You don't need more time. You need more urgency. You need to move with the violence of someone who knows the clock is lying to them. Because it is. You think you have more time? Prove it. Show me the contract. Show me the guarantee. You don't have time. You have now. And how you weaponize it determines everything. So here's how to flip the script. Compress time. Instead of giving yourself a month to do something, give yourself 3 days. Create pressure. Collapse the timeline. Turn tasks into missions. Stretch time. Take 1 hour of deep focus and treat it like it's life or death. Because it is. That hour either builds the empire or delays it. Kill past and future thinking. The past is a graveyard. The future is a mirage. Power exists in what you control. And that means pulling time out of your head and slamming it into your hands. This isn't about time management. It's about time domination. It's about moving so fast and with so much precision that the world has to speed up just to keep you in frame. You stop aging like everyone else. You stop dragging your life forward like a corpse. You compress the next 5 years into one and leave the version of you still figuring it out, choking in your dust. That's the power of temporal warfare. And when you control your perception of time, you control pace. You control urgency. You control destiny. Final reminder: don't wait. Don't drift. Don't hope it'll work out. Decide what happens next and move like the clock owes you blood. Because you were never here to pass time. You were built to bend it. So now you know. The reason you've been stuck wasn't lack of intelligence. It wasn't laziness. It wasn't bad luck. It was the absence of mental warfare. You've been walking through life unarmed, while others carved power from the shadows. But not anymore. Because now, you have the tools. 5 brain hacks forged to rebuild you from the inside out. You've learned to destroy comfort-driven thought, so you stop thinking like a slave and start thinking like a strategist. No more seeking ease. You chase clarity, confrontation, conquest. Overclock your focus through ruthless elimination. Because your power is not in doing more. It's in cutting deeper. No more noise. Just locked-in execution. Reprogram your internal dialogue. Because every word you speak to yourself is a seed, and you refuse to grow weakness. You speak commands. You give orders. You shape reality from within. Transmute raw emotion into fuel. Pain becomes power. Fear becomes direction. Rage becomes momentum. You don't suppress emotions. You aim them. Build systems, not surges. Because real dominance doesn't depend on how you feel. It's engineered, pre-planned, unstoppable. You've stopped hoping to be great. You've designed a life that enforces it. This is no longer about tips. This is about transformation. Because once your mind is rewired, you don't chase results. You attract them. You command them. You become them. So while the rest keep scrolling, keep numbing, keep dying in their comfort zones, you rise, you build, you sharpen, you become the threat they never saw coming. This is your edge now. Protect it, practice it, perfect it. Because the most powerful weapon in this world isn't a gun. It's not money. It's not status. It's a focused, disciplined, dangerous mind. And now, it's yours. Welcome to the next level, warrior. Let them sleep. You're done dreaming. You're executing.